Okay, hi everybody. So we're going to go ahead and start. We don't have a formal program for today because I just wanted people to be able to come and speak their mind. What we're going to do is I'm going to sing a song. I wrote a song back in 2013 to please Mr. Postman, and we had about 70 people on the steps here singing. It's on YouTube, and what I'd like to do is I rewrote Please Mr. Postman to Mr. Postmaster, and I'll start out with that, but I just want to have a couple of announcements. Hey, save the post office! Woo! Woo!
Cavalry has arrived!
All right, we have some car caravan here, yay! So Then there's the real song. By the way, the person who wrote Please Mr. Postman was a letter carrier. And John Prine, who just passed away from COVID, he was a letter carrier, and he started writing songs when he was walking his beat, when he was walking around doing his postal work, and he'd go from house to house and he'd hum little tunes to himself. And he's got a postal service t-shirt that I just ordered from Oh Boy Records. Okay, I'm going to have to move down because it's too loud for inside. Okay, yeah, we don't want to stop. The Joy is doing enough to stop the mail. We don't have to contribute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sing my post office song. Oh yes, wait a minute, Postmaster. Wait, Postmaster. Mr. Joy, please look and see if you can let our postal services be. What you're doing appears to me to be a threat to our democracy. There must be some way today that this insanity will go away. Removing mailboxes and sorting machines, it's the worst that we've ever seen. We've been waiting, we've been watching your tricks, Mr. Postmaster, so impatiently. We're on the lookout, we see what you do, and we're gonna keep our eyes on you. Mr. Joy, you better look and see if something better's in your bag for me. Postal services are on the line, sending chills up and down my spine. So many days we've asked you why, as your crimes pile up and multiply. You say you'll stop to make us feel better, but we want guarantees to mail our letters. This is the Joy, we want to look and see that our mail ballots will be guaranteed. Voter suppression is a crime. You send chills up and down my spine. You better wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you gotta wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Mr. Postmaster, look and see. Deliver the letter, the sooner the better. Postmaster General.
Hello, guys.
Well, thank you. So, there's our fire department. Let's hear it for the fire department. Yay! He came out with a statement the other day saying that he wasn't going to do any more, and it's a lie. It's all a lie. And he's not replacing the sorting machines. In case you don't know about sorting machines, they sort 30,000 letters in an hour. He's taking out these machines and asking people to hand sort the mail. This is what's part of the slowdown is. He's having mail trucks leave before the postal people can get the mail into the trucks. There's all kinds of underhanded things, so we have got to stop this. And there are over 700 of these rallies all over the country that are happening right now, that are happening at 11 o'clock in New York, 11 o'clock here. So keep paying attention, and the main thing you can do is, if you're voting by mail, get it out early. Generally, there's a drop box right in front of City Hall here. You can just drop it in. If you have neighbors who maybe not be able to get out, you are able to drop their ballots in the mail, not, in the mail or in the ballot box, drop box here for them. So I'd like to be able to have some people come up and say what they feel, in their hearts. How is this affecting you? What is going on? How do you care about the post office? We're going to start out with Zippy. Zippy is a mega activist in this community. Let's hear for Zippy.
Hi there. Can you hear me? No? Yeah. Okay, yeah. My personal experience was I ordered some new checks, and when I ordered them, they said they would come by Thursday, this August 6th, or Friday, August 7th. They came on August 18th. I was pretty nervous by then. But one of the things I wanted to say is that the Republican Party has been trying to destroy the post office for many, many years. They started by requiring the post office to pre-fund its retirement needs 75 years in advance. No other agency, department, or corporation is required to do that. It was a move that was designed to destroy the post office. And now we have, with DeJoy and Trump, they're moving very quickly. So I thank you all for coming, because getting out in the streets and telling it like it is, and writing and calling your Congress members, senators particularly, is what is working. And you can write to or post on Facebook to notify your relatives all over the country, particularly in states that have Republican senators, to tell them this is totally unacceptable and it must stop and the damage must be undone. Thank you.
Thanks, Zippy. So I have Clorox wipes if anybody's worried about sharing the mic with other people. I will wipe it down in between. I do want to mention that there are several organizations with postcard drives going on right now. Vote Forward. There are postcards through the NAACP. People, making sure that people know if they're on the voting list, because there's a lot of voter suppression going on. I'm sure you're aware of that. And we want to make sure that people are registered to vote. Even if they think they're registered to vote, they may not be registered to vote. Robert and Betsy are from the Grey Panthers, and Cara and other organizations.
Wow. Thank you, Hallie. She's just one of our many gifted members. Robert, how about you stand where people can see the sign? Robert and I are representing the current Grey Panthers board and membership. What have we done? I mean, what can you say about this travesty? I'm supposed to wear this. And I just get educated every day that this is about a cabal of government contractors and would-be government contractors and entrepreneurs who have their sights on the business end of taking over yet another industry in the United States that is fundamentally a human service, a human citizen benefit. Medicare and Social Security have been in the sights. So the post office was just a little bit more under the cover. But I think if you don't know the history, go to the American Postal Workers Union website, and believe me, they lay it out. So I am incredibly grateful that, what was it, just last Friday, a week ago Friday, we went up and bannered on top of I-80, which is like being on a world stage with many, many honks and supporters on the stuck in traffic below. And we did that with California Alliance for Retired Americans. We put up, we love the post office. Is that visible? Yeah, we put up this, because this is all we had. But it's what we meant. Because the post office, you know, we take it for granted. And it's ridiculous that we can't take things that support our everyday life for granted anymore. So I just want to thank Hallie for organizing this, for the wonderful singing. Go to her YouTube channel. There's a whole history of fantastic songs on there that, as Panthers, we've shared with chapters all over the country who are also invested in this campaign to save the post office, which looks like it's in good leadership hands, but it's just another tentacle of the kraken that's eating our democracy from the inside. So I look forward to you for the next rally, the next banner day. Go to our website if you'd like to hear news of it. And hey, keep strong. Thanks for the resistance. Beautiful people. Gray Panthers, we ain't dead yet.
Okay, what the Republicans have done and are doing is hobbling the post office. They had passed that bill back in 2006 requiring retirement to be funded for like 75 years in the future. That puts the post office at a huge financial disadvantage. And also, the post office, they have a clause that says they can't really compete with they really can't speak. They really can't compete with the private post services like UPS and FedEx. In fact, what they really want to do is destroy the post office and turn it over to UPS and FedEx and some of these other private postal services. And when that happens, you'll pay through the nose. Instead of paying 55 cents for a post stamp, you probably pay $5.50 for a stamp.
So all departments of government pay a certain amount of money towards their own pensions. They ramped up the requirement for the USPS to pay their pensions in an effort to break them down and put out of business over time. And now, the next Republican, Trump, has accelerated the process, but it's aligning with an even deeper, darker motive: to roll back a century of effort to achieve voting rights. I mean, they dismantled 761 ultra-high volume counting machines. Think about that, 700. Each machine can count 1.5 million letters like a minute. This is meant to destroy the vote and cause grounds for challenge so it can stay in office and contest and deny our right to vote that we fought and died for. Of all Trump's crimes, of all his moral failures, of all his indecencies and prevarications, removing mailboxes, destroying the postal system before the vote is his most egregious, and it is grounds for removal from office.
Can you hold the phone and put the cigarette aside?
That's where it's at now. If you talk to people in the government, DC, whatever, you tell them, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. You cannot shred the Constitution and destroy the plebiscite. It's a power granted to us from birth, and no president can take it away. So he's got to be removed from office, and the vote must go on right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Councilmember Ben Bartlett. Now, I want to do the chant one more time, and this time when I say, what are we going to do when they take away our post office, when they try to take away our post office, we say stand up, fight back, okay? So what are we going to do when they try to take away our post office?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when they try to take away our post office?
Stand up, fight back!
What are we going to do when they try to take away our post office?
Stand up, fight back!
All right, so before I introduce our next speaker, Chair of the Berkeley Rent Board, Paola Laverde, I want to just say, housing is a human right, and so is an access to a mailbox. No matter where you live in this country, whether you live in rural areas or in suburban areas or in the cities, the one thing that makes us all equal is that we have access to the USPS. And that is why it's so important that we stand together. And it is my honor to introduce the chair of the Berkeley Rent Board, Paola Laverde.
Allie?
Hello, everybody. I'm Paola Laverde. What I want to add to the discussion is the way the system works. We have a politician. I want to speak about how the way the system works. We have a politician that has a right to name who's going to take over the different departments. These are federal departments. The same thing happens within our state government. We have a governor that names people to head departments. And so what's so important here is that we have to understand the way the system works so that we can fight the system, elect our officers, elect our politicians that really, really reflect what it is how they're going to name people and why are they naming people to departments. And that's really important because the corruption that we're seeing on a federal level has happened on a state level, and so I just want to say we have to be aware, we have to be woken up to who we are electing in these positions that have such power to name people to head departments in the federal level and the state level. So thank you so much for your time.
Make sure you see this first. All right. So hey everyone, my name is Aiden Hill. I use they, them pronouns. And currently right now, I'm the vice chair of the Berkeley Homeless Commission. In my time on that commission, I have met so many people who need this post office in order to get basic supplies, get their social security checks, make sure that they have the communication available to them to communicate with family members from across the United States of America. However, this post office is under attack. I remember 4 years ago, when I was just a student at UC Berkeley, I was standing right here as our post office was being privatized. I remember the homeless encampment right there that tried to make it a community garden. We can't let those efforts go to waste. We can't let those efforts go to waste. We have to make sure that everyone has a right to communication, and that means protecting our post office. This year, I'm so happy to say, after being displaced from Berkeley, I'm now a student again at UC Berkeley, and I've met so many students without the housing available where they need this post office right here. To represent those students, to represent our unhoused community members, I'm running for mayor this election to make sure that we protect our commons and make sure that everyone has a right to communications. We are in the precipice of a new era, one filled with wildfires, potential floods and sea rise, and a fascist government, let's just say it, who wants to attack us at our very core, wants to attack us assembling, wants to attack us from having community, and we see those attacks as blatant. We see them for what they are. Once you destroy a post office, you destroy an ability for a community to have communications. Not only do you destroy the right to vote if you attack the post office, you destroy the right for people to have medicine. You destroyed the right for people to simply belong to each other. Thank you. And so we have to fight back. I don't see why our state or local government can't subsidize this post office. I don't see why we can't help get more workers, get more people out onto the streets to deliver essential medicines, to deliver mail. All of these things are possible, but it's the inaction of our current leadership that stops us from realizing this reality. We have to fight back. They're not only going for the post office, they're trying to privatize everything we hold common, from our parks to our streets to anything that we value as human beings. I don't want to see Amazon giving us free water, and I don't want to see Amazon being the only sole place where we can get postage. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we protect our postal services right here. And it's so essential because without communication, without the ability to talk to each other in a private way, we're susceptible to the worst forms of Trumpian violence. So please stand with everyone here. Please rise with us. Because if you believe in homeless rights, you have to protect the post office. If you believe love is love, and you want to make sure that people are able to get their certificates for marriage, you have to protect the post office. If you believe that elders' rights are human rights, and you believe that those who are homebound, especially now in coronavirus, has a right to medicine, the post office is our friend. And so I want to thank you for being here. Thank you. Again, my name is Aiden Hill, and I'm running for mayor of Berkeley this election. And I believe 100% that this post office must stay in Berkeley. It must be public, and it belongs to all of us, the people. Thank you.
My name is Barry. I'm with Refuse Fascism, and I'm also on the staff of Revolution Books in Berkeley. And I just want to say, it's been 2 years that they've been ripping children from their parents' arms, and they're still doing it. Trump campaigned on demonizing the immigrants. It's continued every day up to the present. Now they're tearing down the post office, and he's attacking the legitimacy of the elections. We have to call this for what it is. This is fascism on a drive to consolidate power. And we have to recognize, all right. We have to recognize it is far, far from a normal situation. Normal political means are not up to the situation we face. We've got to be in the streets in our millions. We've got to drive this regime from power. And this is the most important political question confronting us in a sharp and immediate way. We pass out these flyers. Refuse Fascism is calling on people to come out with us September 5th in San Francisco at the Embarcadero. Please come out. We need to send a powerful message. We will not let this go down the way it is. Thank you very much.
Beautiful to see everybody out here. We're braving really, really bad air to do this, so we should give ourselves a round of applause for coming out here. Yay! Save the post office. There's one simple thing we can do and tell our friends to do is buy stamps like crazy. Just buy, I don't know if somebody said that, I got here late, but it's like, we can help the post office. They're so messed up at this point, defunded and having to pay 75 years into their pensions. So just buy stamps like crazy. I go and buy like 5 sheets when I go into the post office. That is the thing we can do to help. Thank you.
Okay, well, we had an organization called Save the Berkeley Post Office that met a lot on these steps, and Sally was one of the people who was involved in that, and she's still very involved in a lot of things. And here's Sally Nelson.
Hi, it is so great to see you all out here today, and with your signs, thank you, and your great energy. So I know you've been hearing, there's a whole lot that could be said that's already been said about the delays about the reassignment of the senior officials and the removal of the curbside post boxes. You certainly have heard about the removal of the mail sorting equipment, but when you get down to city by city, it becomes really clear. And this came out in an email last night with Women's March. I'm going to wait till the noise goes down. Okay. San Antonio Postal Service.
It's not noise, it's support.
Sorting machines thrown in the trash. Already in Massachusetts, at least a dozen mail sorting machines have been thrown out. In Seattle, Tacoma, 40% of letter handling machines have been dismantled. 40%. Shut up. And so it goes, and that gives you a sense of just, and then you know what, you probably have seen pictures online of the dismantled sorting machines in the parking lot in Grand Rapids. It's almost a metaphor of what's happening and just seeing all this stuff lying around. So my thought is that DeJoy ought to be arrested for vandalism. So many years we've had people do small infractions and thrown in jail for just small acts of vandalism, but this is absolutely huge. I really encourage all of you to call your senators, call your representative, call each member of the Board of Governors, call the Inspector General, either call or email them, and believe me, they hate getting all that email and they hate getting all those phone calls, so do it. But I think you really need to say that DeJoy needs to be arrested, he needs to be fired, he needs to be thrown in jail for what he's doing. He's destroying our democracy. And you've already heard about what the guy who nominated him is worth. So we'll certainly vote against Trump in the upcoming election. Okay, thank you.
Okay, here comes Fred Glass. He's retired from CFT, Communications Director. Yes.
Hi, my name is Fred Glass. I'm a 35-year Berkeley resident, and like you, I'm here to save the United States Post Office.
Yeah!
The first step in saving the post office is doing what we're doing, is protesting against the attacks upon it. But the other side of it has to do with what I'm wearing on my t-shirt, which is the post office is funded with our tax dollars. Tax dollars either come directly from us or they come from the people who can most afford to pay. In Washington, D.C., they just 2 years ago changed the way the tax structure was. We need to reverse that once Biden is president and tax the rich again so we can save the post office for the long term. Here in California, there are other vital services that are on the chopping block. That's why I'm here to ask you also to vote yes on Proposition 15, schools and services first. Proposition 15 closes a loophole created many years ago by Proposition 13. Corporate taxation today is $12 billion a year lower than it should be for our schools and services in California. If you vote yes on Proposition 15, you will be adding $12 billion a year for schools and services. It's incredibly important to do this because there are services that are federal, like the post office, and there are services that are funded at the state level, like our schools, local firefighting, public health, and many more services. So, thank you for being here. Yes on 15, save the U.S. Post Office, dump Trump.
Okay, next, Carrie Mitchell is going to come up. She's a healthcare worker.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to take off my shield now. At work, I wear both a mask and a shield. But it's so important for all of us to get out and about and save our post office. as a 70-year-old person who sees the effect of this horrible thing with the post office, I am just disgusted. My patients not getting their medicine and getting sick. I have personal experience with those kinds of things. In January, I had a terrible fall, and I was wheelchair bound for a while. I was homebound for several months in a wheelchair with a cast on each arm. And the post office was my lifeline to the outer world. My medicine, anything I needed. It was so important to keep me nurtured and help me get well again. And there are other places in the country that it's even worse than here in California. My brother lives up in Alaska. Many of those people get food in the mail. They don't have roads. They get their food and their essential supplies for survival by the U.S. mail. We have to save the post office for us all. We have to participate in voting. It's very important for us to do whatever we can. If you think it's small, it's not. Pick up that phone, make a call, get a postcard out, do something. Please, please save our mail. It's for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm proud to have Dave Welsh come up here. Dave was sleeping here during the Save the Berkeley Post Office rallies and events, and he's a retired postal worker, so he knows what he's talking about. Here, Dave, go ahead.
Hey, Dave.
Thanks, Hallie. You know, it's true that the fight to save the Berkeley Post Office, which was up for sale, they wanted to sell it, and they even had a couple of people who said they wanted to buy it, turn it into a bed and breakfast or something like that. In any case, we managed to get a coalition of every political force in Berkeley that I know of, including all the members of the city council and the mayor, to demand that we keep the post office and it not be sold. Now, that was a tremendous thing. People who wouldn't talk to each other were uniting around saving the post office. So, as far as our camp out here, we occupied the grounds of the post office and the steps with about 25 people for 33 days, and in tents. And that required an alliance with some homeless people. And that was a tremendous, the group called First They Came for the Homeless and others. And that was a tremendous achievement. And I know Valerie's here. She camped out here for most of the 33 days. And there's other people that I don't recognize because you brought your disguises with you. Who slept here. And eventually they came and they used a little trick, and they carted everybody off to jail or wherever they took us, I forget. Anyway, it was a tremendous victory, and the struggle still goes on. And the American Postal Workers Union is calling for rallies today all over the country, and this is one of, I don't know, hundreds of rallies in post offices all over the place, you know. And this is a great thing. The leadership of the American Postal Workers Union, Mark Dimmerstein, is to be congratulated on taking the lead on this. And I just want to say that this is the public post office, as our previous speakers have said. It's been in existence since 1775. This is our property. This is our people's property, and we're not going to let it go. We're not going to let it go.
Going. Peter?
Hi, my name is Peter. I would say way back when I was an undergraduate at SF State, I worked for the post office and really thought that the people who worked for the PO were very dedicated and deserve our support then and now. But what I want to say, though, is that this is a fight for the vote and for freedom and democracy, because what has been going on for years now is that the Republicans, and I will name them as the party, have been trying to suppress the vote. Back in 2013, they gutted the Voting Rights Act. Ever since Trump was running for office, he was saying that the votes against him were faked, and it's all been a lie. And he's been lying for months and months, saying that voting by mail is somehow fraudulent. And then he got his minion in there, Mr. DeJoy, who has set out directly to destroy the mail system so that voting by mail is going to be difficult. I just say, write your representatives. This has been said before. Write to Feinstein, write to Kamala Harris, write to by email, because they're on the web, to the members of the Postal Commission and say this cannot go on. We need the post office to provide us the means of voting by mail, and go to it.
Our next speaker is Richie Cole Smith. She's from South Berkeley, like I am.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Richie Cole Smith. I'm from South Berkeley. I've been there since '49, and I'm with Friends of Adeline. This really upset me last night and this morning when I heard the news about the ballots being delayed, maybe a year, or they may never be all counted. This is ridiculous. We did better than this with Pony Express and carrier pigeons. And here we are with all this technology, and we have these devoted mail workers that go through the sleet, the cold, whatever, heat, to make sure that you get your mail. And they're forgetting that those of us that are out here that are past 19 years have relied on this mail system forever. And it was delivered to us in good fashion, in good condition. And now we have all these fast, fine planes and all this stuff, and we can't get our mail delivered. It's something wrong with that. And it starts at the top. Yeah. It's not with these workers that's working and not really being paid for what they're doing. We must stand with this. I saved the South Berkeley Post Office some years ago by standing out collecting 2,000 signatures to save that post office. That post office service all beyond Berkeley. Emerville, a lot of people come in there because they can get waited on expeditiously. But I'm here under the conditions to support these postal workers and to support our postal service. We can't go down without a fight. And when we start to fight, things usually happen. Yeah. Take care. Stand together.
My name is Laura Colby. I'm a proud graduate of Berkeley High School. A lifetime ago, my last flight landed in San Francisco on March 14th, and I've been here for 5 months staying with my artist mother, Sass Colby. She lets me stay at her place. Isn't that kind of her? Thank you for mothers. Thank you for mothers. I'm not here to preach to the converted. I have one thing to say. The mail is not for sale. I'm sorry. What did you say? The mail is not for sale. I'm sorry, I don't think I heard everybody. The mail is not for sale. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I just wanted to point to the down ballot. The down ballot, people. Mm-hmm. And so when your friends start whining and complaining about the circumstances we're in, what do you say to them?
The down ballot.
And then the next thing you say is, what the hell are you doing? Are you calling everybody you know in your life and telling them that this election is for our lives and that they need to call everybody in their life and write 1 million emails and send 1 million phone calls and rally everyone to vote? And I don't mean in this big, blue, gorgeous Republic of California state. I'm talking about Wisconsin, Florida, Pennsylvania, People need to, Ohio, thank you. We need to send postcards. We need to get people who don't live in Berkeley, California, out to vote. Thank you.
Ahena Washte. Good day, my relatives. My name is Quantum Parker Brightman. I'm an executive director of United Native Americans. I'm also an enrolled citizen of the Lakota Nation. I'm Minikaju, back home in Cheyenne River. I know our people back home in South Dakota are dealing with a number of racist things in regards to our treatment by that governor back home in South Dakota. They're oppressing our people daily and not honoring the two treaties that we have, which are, of course, the Fort Larimer Treaty of 1851 and the Fort Larimer Treaty of 1868. Now, it's ridiculous that we as the indigenous people still have to remind these oppressive people, these fascists, just like Donald Trump, that we have 500 treaties, that we have rights to our ancestral lands, that all of Turtle Island is our ancestral lands. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of doing these little land acknowledgements. I think it's time that the system acknowledges whose fucking land it is. You know, my father used to teach over there at UC Berkeley when they started the Black, Chicano, and Asian studies, and then we as a group, United Native Americans, forced them to start the first Native American Studies program in the United States, which created the first full ethnic studies department in the country. They've now spread all over. That's the progression that we did, that we laid down as a group many years ago. We only had 10 Indians who had a PhD. Now we have over 50,000 Indians who've gone on to become doctors, lawyers, and engineers. I'd just like to remind people about the Native vote and our voice being suppressed. Now, right now, we need some help as far as getting this one resolution passed, this bill passed, which is called HR 1694, which is the Native American Voting Rights Act. We are currently fighting for that right now in Congress and in the Senate. We're trying to get this bill passed so that our rights as indigenous people, our voice is heard and respected. It's about damn time that people acknowledge whose land this is, to acknowledge the fact that genocide has been committed upon indigenous people here far too long, and we're sick and tired of that bullshit. We're tired of Donald Trump. We're tired of these fascist people. We're tired of these Republicans trying to destroy our homeland. We're tired of them destroying our country. We're tired of them destroying our environment. We're tired of them destroying everything that they touch. They are like locusts. We have to vote them out. We have to march on them. We have to picket them, and we got to fight them at every single battle. It's going to take every single one of us. We all have to unite. It doesn't matter what organization you represent. It matters that you're doing work. That's all that matters. The egos, all that BS. Hey man, look, we got to get this done. We got a lot of work ahead. And bottom line, it's going to take every single one of us. And I plead to you to keep coming back. Keep going. Every single day, if you have time, please do something for the civil rights movement. Thank you.
Well, tomorrow, just to let you know, tomorrow is the 51st anniversary of People's Park celebration. The anniversary is actually in April, but because of the pandemic, we weren't able to pull off a rally before then. So the rally is going to be partly at the park and partly online. Would someone, Aiden or Ivar, come on up and say how you can get to the rally if you're going to be doing it online, etc.?
Okay, there's going to be a live stream of the performances, which are mostly remote, and that's going to be through the People's Park Committee Facebook page. So if you go to Facebook, the People's Park Committee page, there's a few different People's Park pages, but that's the one, and we'll be streaming it through there. There will be a very small gathering at the park with one person playing with minimal, one of these type of amplification. If you want to come by and check that out, we will have sanitizer, free masks. We're going to set up an actual sink, and hope to see you there and honor the park. It's 51 years. You see right now they're trying to build 1,200 units of market rate student housing on it. This is essentially like luxury student housing. It's about $17,000 a year on average. That's not for a full year. That's only 9-month student year. And they're basically trying to privatize the park and build a very tall building on it. And as a smokescreen, they're using a big lie about building supportive housing there. That housing has no funding. There's no funding lined up for it. They're counting on the state to fund it. And the university is offering no resources to build that housing. All they're doing is seeding 1/6 of People's Park, which is less than 3 acres in size total. 1/6 will go to the city of Berkeley to build whatever they want on it, and it will be no benefit to the people that currently use People's Park. There are a lot of houseless people that use it for food not bombs. There's people staying there now. It's a resource center 7 days a week for houseless people in this city and in the East Bay, generally speaking. And they're going to build nothing for those people. It's actually illegal for the building that they put there to serve the people at the park because of the county waiting list. So in any case, there's a lot of lies coming from UC right now. If you'd like to see what's going on at the park, which has been really good, we will be there tomorrow. And there's going to be some nice music. Funky Nixon's is coming in remotely. And Cass McCombs, who's a really excellent musician, has multiple albums and critical acclaim, is going to be playing live there around 2 o'clock. And there's going to be a killer drum circle. I'm bringing my saxophone. Bring your instruments. Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, and just remember why it's so important to protect People's Park. People's Park is the only green space in District 7. It serves as a temporary refuge area if there's ever a fire, power outage in our city. It's 51 years, started from the free speech movement. And Mario Savio even said, we're all fighting for People's Park. And it's the merge between civil rights and environmental rights that makes it so important. So think about, as UC Berkeley brings students into Berkeley, and it might be even over-enrolled, where are those students going to go if they need somewhere where they can feel safe? Are they going to walk all the way to Clark Kirk campus? Are they going to go to Willard Park? Are they going to go in the middle of the university? No, emergency means right now. Emergency means we have to keep our people safe. And so People's Park is that place for all of the students at UC Berkeley. And so please support. Ivar is doing a great job organizing. We have a lot of great bands. I help out with Food Not Bombs to make sure that all of our Berkeleyans have a nice and free meal. But we have to stand together, because if we don't have our green spaces, not only is the smog going to get worse, not only is that going to happen, but if we lose our trees, if we lose our oxygen banks, we're all going to have a worse time out here. So please protect your local parks, please protect your commons, and please protect your post office. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I guess you love our country as much as I do, and our right to vote. 671 sorting machines, each worth $1 million. It's nearly $1 billion worth of systems. And then you send a letter, DeJoy sends a letter to say the votes won't get there in time. And then he says, oh, he didn't really mean to affect any election systems. It's totally illegal for him to make these changes without having them approved. This is an obvious attempt to subvert our democracy. It is a very serious offense to take away the rights of all of us to vote. And I want you to unite with everyone in this country to help your friends get out the vote. Thank you.
Peter Shapiro is hosting a caravan today, just because a lot of people may not have been here when I announced this before. Today at 3 p.m., assemble at Eastmont Mall in Oakland by the Burger King parking lot. They're going to be caravanning to Fruitvale Post Office. So it says here, Medicare for All, Jobs and Justice, Healthcare. Just to let you know about these rallies, there are over 700 of them all over the country, sponsored by Move On, the NAACP, SEIU. There's a ton of organizations who are behind these rallies because we really do care about the health and welfare of our country. So if anybody, I have a couple of these. If you want to go, actually I have one left. If you want to go to this rally, let me know. And if you need more information than I just gave on the mic, I'll be glad to give this to you. those really nice signs that are up here were given to us by a woman named Chloe Stryker. She ordered them from Copy World and just had me pick them up yesterday, and they were really expensive. I asked her if she wanted them after the rally. She said, no, pass them on to people who will put them in their windows. So if you want one of those, please do take it, only if you're going to really display it, because it's really important that people see the solidarity that we have for this issue. And that's, anybody else have any announcements?
Right, that's me. Good morning, everybody. I'm Harvey Smith. I was very involved with the struggle of trying to prevent the sale of our post office, turning it into real estate. Realize, who built this? Our families did. They paid for the artwork, the New Deal artwork that's on the walls. It's our post office. So how did it get to the point where the government can privatize this space right here? Well, I'm going to say two things, basically wearing two hats. So my first one, I'm going to add to what Aiden and Ivar said about People's Park. Unfortunately, I got to give you the bad news that our city is actually complicit in the construction on People's Park. Our mayor and a couple of city council members have, my glasses are getting fogged up. The mask. Anyway, our mayor and a couple of city council members have actually endorsed construction on People's Park. So we got to keep an eye on the university and on the city. The city is also rezoning the south side. More complicity with the university. At the same time, they're suing the city about over-enrollment. So it's a little schizophrenic. We actually have ordinances on the books in Berkeley. Measure L is one of them. You can look it up, that prioritize the preservation and creation of parks and open space in the city. So this position of the mayor and these council members fly in the face of that. So we need to push on People's Park and make everyone aware in the city that the city has got to oppose also the construction on People's Park. So I won't go any more of it. Aiden and Ivar really, I think, explained the basics. So my other hat, I'm just going to look forward here. I'm going to look forward to a Biden-Harris administration. What we need once that administration is in place is a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to unravel how this all happened. How do we get to this point where voting rights that people struggled for, organized for, died for, are trying to be overturned and have been overturned? You know, messing with the post office is messing with our right to vote. How did this happen? How did the White House become occupied by essentially a criminal syndicate? A bunch of real estate crooks from the top to the bottom. Trump, you know, Woody Guthrie actually lived in a Trump project and wrote a song about the actions of the Trump Corporation. Look it up. So from Trump to his son-in-law, to Mnuchin, who is pushing this whole dismantling of the post office, to Wilbur Ross, to Otter, the list goes on. They're all people that have made millions of dollars on people's pain and people being evicted, snatching up real estate at bargain prices. We need to investigate this. We need to go further. We can look at racism. We can look at the roots of racism and slavery. We can look at native genocide. We should look at it all. So with a Biden-Harris administration, we need to unravel all this. We just can't go forward as if this didn't happen. So I'll leave it at that. I'll look to the future. Thank you.
anyway, my name's Pete Bryden. I'm just a citizen. But what I'm getting from all of this is we got to have a plan to vote. Whether you're going to vote at the precinct or if you're going to do mail. You got to get if you're going to do mail, you got to get it early and you got to turn it in early. Put it in a box in front of the city hall or get it in the mailbox the day after you get it. All right? Because that's the only way to foil their plans. So get them in early and don't let them steal your vote. Thank you.
I had a Brazilian dance class. Oh, okay, you're 60 years old, you don't recover as fast as you used to. Okay.
Hear that.
So, as many of you probably know, the post office is essential to this country and its development, particularly of the black middle class. And I'm a prodigy of that. I'm a product of it. My parents from the Alabama and southern south of Mississippi could not find work with college degrees. All the signs said we need not apply, and the word wasn't we, it started with N. So I was born in Mobile, Alabama in 1960, and my parents were able to raise 4 children, 2 lawyers, a doctor, and now he's in real estate, but we mainly want to give back to the community, and I think this is the foundation right here of the community of the United States, because it provides delivery to reservations. I have friends in the Yakima Nation. They won't get mail if this is not an active service, and it's constitutionally required. Hi, Ms. Ritchie. You always respect your elders, and I was taught right. So I really appreciate everybody that comes out for our post office, because we saved it once before, we're going to save it again. Thank you.
So here's, please, Mr. Postmaster. Stop. Oh, yes, wait a minute, Postmaster. Wait, Postmaster. Mr. DeJoy, please look and see if you can let our postal services be. What you're doing appears to me to be a threat to our democracy. There must be some way today that this insanity will go away. Removing mailboxes and sorting machines, it's the worst that we've ever seen. We've been watching your tricks, Mr. Postmaster, so impatiently. We're on the lookout, we see what you do, and we're gonna keep our eyes on you. Mr. DeJoy, you better look and see if something better's in your bag for me. Postal services are on the line, sending chills up and down my spine. So many days we've asked you why, as your crimes pile up and multiply. You say you'll stop to make us feel better, but we want guarantees to mail our letters. Mr. DeJoy, we want to look and see that our mail ballots will be guaranteed. Voter suppression is a crime. You send chills up and down my spine. You gotta wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh yeah, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Mr. Postmaster. Look and see, deliver the letter. The sooner the better, Postmaster General. So keep up the good fight, and let's just keep going and vote. Whatever manner you do it in, vote. And make sure that if you know people out of state, that they're on the rolls and that they're registered to vote and that they haven't been kicked off the rolls. There are a lot of postcards and letter things in the works to get people information out of state. If you need any information, just get in touch with me, HallieH@yahoo.com.